wanted to do something new. And you guys know that none of this came easy for me. I want you guys to, I always say that to people, right? So if you're new, if you're kind of new, none of it was natural. Okay? And I never had really done any sales positions. As a matter of fact, I had a lot of misconceptions about sales positions, about selling. I heard salespeople are overzealous, unprofessional, unethical, high pressure. All they care about is money. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that there may not be some people like that, but I didn't want to be like that. Okay. I wanted to be different, but I do want to make money. And the awesome thing about sales is what? If you work hard, you can make more money, right? One thing that was really frustrating for me was my job. I'd work hard. I work harder than my neighbor, right, in my little cubicle next to me, right? We had this little kind of cafeteria office setup thing where, you know, we have a little shared 3x3 space. And I work hard, and Alex shows up late. Alex leaves early. Alex, I saw him a couple times. He'd go to his car, take a nap. Anybody ever done that? You're lying if you say you haven't, right? Some of you guys might, George Costanza, go into the desk, right? You got a closed door, you put a little mattress under there. And we get paid the same amount of money. I can't work twice as hard and say, you know what? I worked hard this week, pay me more. But I heard you could do that in sales. If you see twice as many, you know, you do twice as much business, you sell twice as much product, you can make twice as much money. Never ever wanted to do it full time. And so I had gotten so frustrated with my job that I wanted to try something different. And so I wanted to do it, and I did it part-time, and I started learning, and I started reading books, and I started getting better, and I started learning about salespeople just in general, right? And one thing about me, right, and you guys are here, you're here to learn. You came, you fought the weather, you fought traffic. Some of you guys paid tolls here. Some of you guys have sitters at home. You know, some of you guys got out of bed. I left my beautiful family on Saturday morning, right? My 3 kids, I got, you know, so I came here to learn, all right? So one thing, what am I going to say right now? Make sure you're taking notes, okay? I don't want to see you playing on your phone. You can do that the 23 hours that you're not here. If you're here, pay attention, learn something. And it's one thing if you do it to me, it's a totally different thing if you do it to our speaker, Sheila, all right? So the power of asking questions, okay? Persuasion, right? And you know, we all need, and this is not just sales. This is people skills. If you want to move up in life, I have to persuade my kids. I have to persuade my wife. I have to persuade my family. You know, you want to get a better job. You want to move up. Some of you want a second chance. Forgive me. Take me back. Maurice, you know what I'm talking about. Not to you, but you know, guys, I'm isolating here. Right? You need better people skills. And I'm being comical, but you know, people skills have allowed me to just navigate a little bit easier in life. I don't like, this is just me, I don't like arguing with people all the time. I don't like butting heads with people all the time. I like getting along with people. I like compelling people. I like moving people. I like nudging people. I like getting what I want. Especially if it's positive, right? If it's negative, no, that's probably not good for me. I'm glad I read those books. I'm glad I sat down with clients. I'm glad I'm able to help people. You know, Sheila went up there and we talked and she showed her stuff. What's she said? $1,200 a month the client was paying. How many policies? 6 policies. And guess what? If you want a bigger client, you need to be more persuasive. It doesn't take a lot. I'm not knocking anybody. Money's money, okay? But if someone's paying $50 a month, it's different than paying $300 a month. So persuasion is a subtle art, and always remember this. It's not about being an extrovert and always talking. The greatest tool you have is questions. So let me ask you, are you ready to start winning every argument you ever have? Are you ready to grind your opponents into the ground with your debating skills? Anybody ready? That's a trick question. That's not what people skills is about. Right? You can win all the arguments you want. People still they're not going to be around you. Right? That's how I was. I was a young, arrogant person. Oh, you need to think exactly the way I think, and if you don't think like me, you're wrong. Okay, and that is true. Okay, I'm right about every single thing that I'd said. But that's not good people skills, right? It's just not. People skills is about listening. It's about communicating. It's about advocating your own beliefs in a compelling way. And always remember this. This is something I always tell people. Think about it. How many times have you changed your mind because someone kept bombarding you with information? Has that ever made you change your mind? It's just the other person sounds obnoxious, unreasonable, stubborn, prideful. Doesn't change your mind. And obviously I learned this a lot having a family, not just having a wife, but having kids. Questions. Always remember this. Questions. Put the focus on the other party. It nudges them in the right direction without making them react defensively. Questions, questions, questions. Questions pull. Statements push. We're going to talk more about this, right? So this is something I think about, right? You guys know this. I married an attorney. My wife's an attorney. She's a barred attorney, right? She was a full scholarship student. She went to Georgetown. She went to law school. Very, very smart. And she has a lawyer's mind. Okay, now, obviously she's not like actively practicing law. She, wants to be a mom, and she's a mom and whatever, but I always ask her a lot of questions, right? And unfortunately, some of you guys have some experience with juries and convictions and all these things, okay? But thankfully for me, it was, I was a minor. It's been adjudicated. I'm just kidding. Am I? I don't know. But remember, you're a lawyer. Okay? Your audience is the jury. Your client's the jury. You need to convince them 100%, beyond a reasonable doubt. If there's doubt, you don't get a conviction. And in real life, and this is very important, right? In real life, politics, religion, sports, family values, it's nearly impossible to convince people 100% because it involves opinions. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. All right, that's not my goal. That's why I don't always touch those issues, because there's a lot that goes into that. We're talking about numbers, facts, finances, things like that. Okay, and I just alluded to this. The bigger the decision, the more convinced the person needs to become, and you need better questions. You need more questions. So, if someone is going to be, they want to move $1 million, they got to be really convinced. If somebody's going to quit their job, they got to be really convinced. If somebody's going to, how did someone pay $1,200 a month? They were convinced. They were convinced. Somebody convinced them. Somebody sold them. Now, it was wrong. And that was awesome that we have the facts and truth on our side. But that goes to show you, they don't just, $1,200 is a lot of money for anybody. But someone convinced them. And you can do it too. So tips, be sincere. Okay, this is really important, right? Never insult people. Never insult people. Insulting people makes people defensive and aggressive. Now look, I know you might be thinking, well, you make fun of people up here. Listen, I'm doing that out of love. Okay? So Josh, I care about you. It's actually for you, not for me.
Oh my God. Okay.
Don't insult people, all right? It's not nice, it's not professional, and sometimes we do it indirectly. All right? Hypocrisy. This is big for financial planning. This is big for you being a leader and a builder. You can't hold the other party to a different standard than your own. That's always that's always the wild card. I always tell people, you can't tell clients to invest money, you don't invest your own money. I'm not saying you got to invest all your money in the world, but you can't say retirement's important. I don't do it, but for you, it's important. Self-improvement's important. I mean, for you, I got it all figured out, but you should read. You've lost credibility, man. It's very hard to motivate people. All you can be is an example. And the worst thing is lying. Always remember that. People can always forgive honest mistakes, but if you intentionally, it just doesn't. It's just not a good look. All right. And it's okay to be emotional when you're talking about our products and services, right? I know sometimes I tell people that, and I think for the most part, when I sit down with people, and we're going to go into questions, and we're going to go through it very quickly. I'm going to go through a whole lesson here on questions and things like that. And if you're brand new, don't worry about it. If it's over your head, you'll learn this, and you're going to be great. And remember, okay, somebody told me this a long time ago. It's more true today than it was when I first started years and years ago. You get great at our business, you can make $1,000 a client. I didn't say a night. You can make $1,000 a client. Anybody ever make $1,000 a day legally? A lot of hands went down. Anybody ever make $1,000? You keep all your clothes on? Huh? You didn't steal something. You didn't sell something. You didn't steal something, then sell it.
Oh my God.
You made $1,000 because you're great at a presentation. This is the money that we're talking about. You get great. So one thing I always do, and I want to be very careful about doing this. I'm an easily excited person. Okay, very easily excited. Now, certain things excite me very easily, right? And so sometimes that makes people uncomfortable. So if I'm talking to a client, I try to stay calm, because if I get too, it just makes them nervous, and then they're not clear. But it's okay to get emotional that means you're passionate. Sheila, and I appreciate it. I know you're up here. It was 5 minutes. You didn't drop an F-bomb. I know that's probably coming out the next training, right? It's okay to be emotional. It's okay. I don't want y'all to be me. Okay. What works for me may not always work for you. I try to stay calm. I try to, do certain things just to calm the client down when I talk to people, right? Same thing, right? I mean, I know sometimes it makes me uneasy when people are too overly like, calm down. But it's okay. You talk about group insurance. I'm not going to share it today, but I just got a thing on group insurance on a company not paying, and a client sent the notice of the denial from the group insurance company, right? I'll just read a part of it. And it has this, I'll show it to Thomas, right? It has this highlighted, right, up there. I'll read it. But it says, active work means employee is performing the normal duties of his or her regular job for the policyholder on a regular and continuous basis, 40 or more hours each week. Therefore, and they blocked out the name, was not active at work on the effective date of the policy. His insurance would not begin until the day he returned to work. As noted, insurance for an employee that is confined in a hospital on the day of insurance is to begin, will not take effect until the day after the employee has completed 1 full day of active work. We are sorry to learn of the loss of your husband. And it doesn't say the name. They won't say the name. I love that, right? The loss of your husband, employee. They don't want to get it personal. That client paid those premiums thinking, now look, our job is to tell them. See, you think that it's just a ploy. No, no, no. Our clients are going to get these letters. We're sorry. We ain't going to send you any money, but we're sorry. Employee was not at work. They won't say the name. We're sorry for the loss of your husband. You know how many clients, me personally, I've lost to group insurance. I always tell people this is the #1 thing that I lose. I don't lose the cash value that much because if you're, you know, pay more, pay less, you know, I lose some, but I lose group more than I should. And I needed to read that because it got me fired up again. It's like, man, we're at the kitchen table. Sometimes I'm like, man, you dumbass. I'm not even, forget it, fine. I'm out, dude. I'm going home. You know, I'm sitting here arguing with you. You got the wife. It's your wife and your kids. They ain't mine. Mine are protected. I'm good. But they don't listen. But you know, if we can prevent one of these letters from happening, it's worth it. Right? We say it, we show it. This is a client's letter. This is what they got. Wow. Okay, areas of concern. Not everybody's going to say yes all the time. Always remember that when you're talking to people, if they don't say yes, that's okay. Right? Sometimes, Carter, we might think they don't say yes, you get frustrated. You huff and puff. You sigh. You're like an emotional child. It's okay, man. You got to present differently. You got to ask questions. You got to overcome. To be fundamentally sound, you must master the art of overcoming objections. An objection is simply part of the process in getting people involved. Objections define a prospect's area of concern and give feedback needed to answer and move towards the close. Okay? Always remember, when you're sitting down with people, you have to answer through your presentation. This is why they move forward. They have 6 whys. Why change? Why should I change? Why now? You can also write sense of urgency. I'm good. I haven't died yet. I've had this product so long. Why now? We have to put in not just why you need to change, but why now? Why your industry? You have to be great at talking about the industry as a whole, how big the industry is, how many people are clients, not just of our company in financial services, how many people are struggling financially in our mission, so they see that, man, this is a huge need. Why your company, right? We do a great job of that. We're most of us, if you've been here, you understand. If you've heard our webinar, if you've heard our animated videos, you understand our company's unique. We're a disruptor. You know, we're making changes. We allow people like us to go, and we're doing things totally different. And you got to understand the story of the company. Why your product? What your product is going to do for them. And then why spend the money? Why change? Why now? Why your industry? Why your company? Why your product? Why spend the money? An objection is a request for more information. After 16 years, there is not an objection we haven't heard. Your job is to learn the appropriate responses. Your level of success increases rapidly when you can answer every concern with confidence. Right? Back to asking questions, right? Questions, you gain control of the conversation. You isolate areas of concern. You receive minor agreements. You uncover hidden fears. Remember, if I say it, they tend to doubt it. If they say it is true. What's your name back there? Right. What's your name?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tony. I'm glad I asked you that. When I say, remember, if I say it, they tend to doubt it. If they say it's true, what does that mean? And I called on you because you're new. That's why I called on you. So I'm not expecting you to know 100%. It's a teaching tool.
I would say that when you say something, somebody's